Hi, my name is Haley, and this is a video response to the Thinking Atheist video, Atheism in Your Words. I would like to give my story, a quick story as to why I left Christianity. I'm not an atheist now, but I could become one, or I could just stay as an agnostic. I was raised in a Christian family, obviously, and my parents were great. I went to church every week. I went Wednesdays for Bible study. I had church friends, and I still have some of the friends today from when I met them when I was a baby because I grew up in the same church my whole life. The church was wonderful, and my parents were wonderful, but my parents have two children, me and my older sister, and my sister is the one that's like the perfect child, and I'm the one that's rebellious, laid back, dumb one, or whatever. And everyone at my church knew that. They knew that I was the rebellious one. When my mother gave me a talk about staying pure until you're married, like, I thought that was a good idea, but my little brain was too curious for that even when I was younger. So I never really quite made the pledge to stay pure until I was married. And but besides that, I took everything else to heart. I didn't question anything because it was engraved into my brain when I was a little baby that this was right. I was at a vacation Bible school, and this lady was telling us about Jesus, and I was just 4 years old, and she was telling us about Jesus and how to become saved and go to heaven. And she said, just ask him in your heart. So I was like, Jesus, please come in my heart, and yay, I'm a Christian. And that was it. But then later, when I was 12, I started feeling, guilty about everything I've done, which I've done nothing, like, compared to now. But, so I went to my friend's church, and they had a wonderful, heart-moving sermon, and I was crying. I was like, oh my God, I'm not saved. So I became saved that night. Officially this time, actually. I didn't even know. Maybe it was just a forgiveness thing. I don't know. But when I was 12, I was still rebellious, and I believed everything in the Bible, but I was the rebellious one, like I said. So I would think the Bible's true, but everything about it, I didn't apply to my life. So I knew it was the best, but I was like, that's not for me, because I want to be my own free spirit, independent person. So when I was older, past the age of 12, I was rebelling more. I was swearing and stuff. Not a lot, but I'll just swear occasionally, which I would try to do just because it would look stupid on a little kid swearing. But I also, just on family occasions, I would like alcohol. My mom was like, oh, Haley, don't drink that. She's like, don't swear. And I would just become very independent. I would speak my mind. I was very rarely rude. If I was too scared to say someone's face. But I was a sweetheart to everyone, but I like to be independent, let people know my opinions on things. When it came to music that was from the devil, as my mom said, I didn't care what she said. I didn't care what other people said. I chose to like who I like, listen to the music that I listened to, and that was that. So as I got older, in my teenage years, I would post things such as promiscuous lyrics or whatever, and then throughout the last couple years, or last 3 to 4 years, I would be honest about my opinions. I would say that there's nothing wrong with sex outside of marriage, there's nothing wrong with being gay, and my mom would see that, and she would be like, Haley, don't say that. And I was like, why? And she's like, people could not hire you for jobs or whatever, and like, I know people do that, but they would do it if I saw like smoking pot and shit, and I wasn't like, woo, I'm getting high, blah, blah, I'm so cool. No, I didn't do that. I don't do drugs. But so she would think it's okay if I was like, gay marriage is wrong and stuff like that, because it's her opinion, but not mine. And my dad agreed with my mom the whole time, but he didn't want to confront me about it. So my mom was the more one that was like trying to get me in shape to be a good Christian. But I listened to her. I was like, there's nothing wrong with freedom of speech. And she kept bugging me about it and bugging me about it every time I posted stats about my opinions that went against the Christian faith. And so it continued about that. And then last year, I started dating this guy, and we were talking about evolution, and he was saying, or well, he was saying that he was learning about it in class, and I was like, I was really stupid. I was like, evolution's a lie, and scientists make up these fossils to lure people in to get away from God. I don't know why he stayed with me after that. But so, and he was talking about evolution stuff, and then eventually, like, he didn't have a religion. He believed in God and theistic evolution, and that was basically it. And then eventually became an atheist. So I was like, oh my god! I was like, I need to like think of ways to like prove to him that creation is real and there is a God. And but even as I wanted to, I was thinking about the reasons he gave and other non-believers gave it as to why the Bible wasn't good, and they made more sense than to the people who are saying that how it is good. And so I thought about it, and I would go through Bible verses that contradicted each other and Bible verses that seemed evil. And either what I would people would give me answers was that it doesn't make sense, but we have to trust God on it. And ones that seemed evil, it was like God has a higher purpose and He is God. Our brains cannot comprehend how He thinks. So we need to accept it and have faith that everything He's doing is fine. If He wants to kill children who swear at their parents, it's fine. If He wants to kill a girl who has sex outside of marriage, it's fine. If He wants to swipe out a town of children, but then say swipe out a town of children from praying, like they prayed for safety, but they get killed, but then He helps you find your remote control to watch your NFL game, then it's okay. So I was thinking about it, and I just didn't really believe a lot of the Bible. I still believed in the resurrection of Jesus and the Bible stories, but not the Bible side. I just basically said I was a follower of Jesus, but not a Christian. So this is either in January or February. I came out and wrote a huge ass note on Facebook, tagged everyone I knew, or all my friends I knew, and that knew I was a Christian. Tagged them saying my beliefs and everything I disagreed with in the Bible, what I didn't understand, such as Hitler believed in Jesus, but people think he's in hell, but technically it says once saved, always saved. It's through faith and not by works. So I was saying technically Hitler is in heaven and the Jews are in hell because they don't believe in Jesus. So I thought that was extremely fucked up, and I would say that and all this other stuff. So then people were like, oh my god, someone talked to you about this, and my old youth pastor talked to me, and I love him. He actually gives really good answers for what means what in scripture. But so even though he would give good answers, there was ones that he couldn't give a good answer for because it was fucked up in general. And so it didn't make sense and it seemed evil. And I know it's not the only religion that seems that way. Islam seems that way too. There's some wonderful, good preachings in Islam, just like there's in Christianity, but there's also a lot of horrible things in it that make God seem malevolent. And sorry, cat. And so I had enough with it. I had enough of Christianity. And so my ex-boyfriend, the boyfriend I was telling you about last year, we're on a break now, or broken up, yeah. Well, his friend was an atheist, and he told me to check out The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins. I haven't finished it because I am a slow reader, but I fucking love it. I fucking love Richard Dawkins. Everything. It's amazing. And he gave me some really good viewpoints. And so I realized the truth about Christianity, how I was brainwashed as a child, even though my parents didn't know it, because my parents were wonderful parents, but they just believed that what they were doing was right. They didn't have an evil attempt. They wanted to save me, and I could understand that. But at the same time, I should choose myself, not become brainwashed, and choose myself what religion or no religion that I want once I'm older and can understand. But I didn't learn about evolution and the other religions until way later in my life, when it was already too late for me. Or at least, I thought too late. So after I read some of the God Delusion, I definitely dropped the name Christianity. like I still thought maybe I was one, but it's definitely dropped now. Um, I still believe in God to an extent. It's more of, like I said, I'm agnostic, so it's either theistic agnostic or atheist agnostic. It varies, like sometimes it's atheist, like it goes in between for me, or deist. I want to believe in God because I could see the way He answers prayers, but then that means something because He doesn't answer a lot of other people's prayers, so it's just part of His stupid plan. Um, and then like I want there to be a God because I don't like the fact of once you die, that's it. I'm scared of death shitlessly. And so, yeah, I don't like the fact of there not being a God, but just because you don't like something doesn't mean it isn't true. Or it could be true. And so, the more I thought about it, the more I realized that religion is too controlling and everything. The reason why, for a long time, I was scared to leave the religion was because I was told my whole life I would go to hell. I would go to hell. And that could be, like, I wonder if that's a reason why I still believe in God, just for my fear of going to hell. And it's not right. We shouldn't make someone believe out of fear. A God would not try to convert people out of fear. I could understand him sending the evil people like Hitler, Stalin, Osama bin Laden to hell. But everyone else, like, I know plenty of people who aren't Christians and have the same morals as the Christians, or have even more morals than the Christians. Some of my friends have told me, or implied, that I'm going to hell when they do drugs, smoke pot, have one-night stands, and all this other shit. And if you want to do that, that's one thing, but don't tell me I'm going to hell when I don't do that shit and you do. Please don't, because obviously if anyone's going to go to hell, it's going to be you. Just one belief, one small belief, since you believe in Jesus or believe in the Bible and I don't, doesn't mean that you have eternal salvation, because technically I have better morals than you. But I don't really think that. I'm just saying I don't think a Christian should be saying that to me if they do not follow the Bible. I think people who do follow the Bible, like word for word, like if God told me to kill my mother, I would kill her. Like, those people are nut shit crazy. I kind of respect them to an extent that they aren't hypocrites, but they kind of freak me out. So evolution right now, I definitely understand a lot more. I believe microevolution, macroevolution, I kind of do, but it just seems like there should be more transitional fossils. But it definitely makes more sense than creation, because before I was just like, fossils are fake, therefore creation is real. Yeah, like there's much more evidence for evolution. And so, especially the billion-year-old Earth and universe, it's been proven. So I think young Earth creationists are ignorant in that, and they really need to go to school again. The reason why I didn't learn about that stuff was because I was homeschooled. So my mom would tell me, this is evolution, they think this, but it's not nothing. Like, she would teach me the science behind it. And so I just knew, I was like, oh, it's bad, creation's correct, the end. But I realized eventually that it's not a good religion. I mean, it is good, but it's a very mixed, bipolar religion, as I guess you could call it. And so I feel as though I'm pretty content at calling myself an agnostic. I'm still unsure if there's a theist or deist God. I want there to be a God, but again, that doesn't mean there is one. But I would more say I could technically be called a Unitarian Universalist, because I think everyone deserves the freedom of religion, and I hate when Christians and Muslims try to convert people. I'm like, this is the right one, this is the right one. Can't they just all be fucking right, and like, let's just get the fuck over it? It's really annoying. So thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. Leave your comments, please, and maybe subscribe to my channel. And that is it. And as Benjamin Franklin said, to shut out the eye of... never mind, just like fucking ignore that quote. Alright, well, thank you very much for listening to this. Bye.